So many of our mothers, brothers, fathers, children were killed in the crossfire. If they don't say that, they have been killed because he or she was a collaborator. Killed because they were running away with the terrorists. Killed because they were actively assisting terrorists. And the list went on and on, among others. We must ask ourselves, these pertinent persons, why did these comrades and masses die? For what did they have to endure such painful and humiliating deaths? These are the questions that we must pose and ask ourselves. The answer is they were fighting for two main fundamental principles. One, our land, Sabbath, Ivu, Ragagatsikai. Number two, the right to vote removing unqualified franchise, which had been put by Ian Smith and his succeeding regimes, that only a few would be able to vote and select their leaders.
I think as a citizen, I have a right to air my views. And in Zimbabwe, every citizen has the right to air his or her views. I'm not at all afraid because I don't see any physical threat to me. My belief is that if the Constitution is undermined, Parliament as the legislative arm of government must protect it. Also, you will realize that in the draft, these opportunists have quickly moved to try and remove Section 212 of the Constitution, which mandates the defense forces to defend the Constitution. And I think that is a way of trying to manipulate the constitutional process. I don't want to believe that the defense forces are derelicting on their duty, but they are watching the process. And when ZANU-PF itself becomes a security threat.
Chiwenga has stepped in again, and this time the tone is very serious. The kind of message that is not just for show, but one that carries weight across the whole country. People are paying attention, both inside government and outside, because when someone in his position speaks in this manner, it usually means something deeper is going on behind the scenes. So stay with me on this, and please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because I will break everything down in a very simple and clear way for you. The situation is building around Constantino Chiwenga and Emmerson Mnangagwa. These are not just two ordinary names in Zimbabwe. These are two powerful figures who have worked together in the past, especially during the events of the 2017 Zimbabwean coup d'etat. That moment changed the leadership of the country and brought Mnangagwa into power, with Chiwenga playing a very key role. Now, fast forward to today. The relationship between these two men is no longer as smooth as it used to be, at least from what people are beginning to see. Chiwenga's recent statements are being interpreted as a warning, not just a casual comment. When a military-trained leader speaks, especially someone with his background, the tone matters a lot. People close to the political space are saying this message is about discipline, direction, and control. Some believe it is connected to concerns about how the country is being run. Others feel it may be about internal disagreements within the ruling party, ZANU-PF. And then comes another layer to this story involving Rutendo Matinyarare. His name has been coming up in conversations around this situation. He has been vocal, raising issues and making claims that are now circulating widely among the public. While not everything he says is officially confirmed, his voice is influencing how people interpret what is going on. This is where things begin to get even more interesting, because when public commentators and political insiders start speaking at the same time, it usually means there is more happening behind closed doors. Now, let's break this down in a way that is easy to understand. Chiwenga is not just a politician. He has a strong military background. That means his approach to leadership is very structured, very firm, and very direct. When he speaks, especially in a serious tone, many people take it as a signal rather than just words. Mnangagwa, on the other hand, is the current president. He is responsible for the overall direction of the country. But leadership at that level is not always simple. There are different interests, different opinions, and sometimes disagreements on how things should be done. So when Chiwenga sends what people are calling a warning, it raises questions. Is this about policy? Is it about leadership style? Or is it about something even bigger, like future power arrangements? You see, politics is not always about what is said openly. Sometimes it is about what is implied. And right now, many Zimbabweans are reading between the lines. At the same time, citizens are watching closely. The economy, governance, and general direction of the country are all issues people care about deeply. So when top leaders appear to be sending strong messages to each other, it naturally becomes a topic of national discussion. Let's also remember something very important. Zimbabwe has gone through significant political changes over the years. From the time of Robert Mugabe to the transition that brought in Mnangagwa and now this current phase, every move at the top level matters. So this situation is not just about two individuals. It is about the future direction of leadership in Zimbabwe. And this is where your attention is very important. Make sure you like this video and subscribe, because as this story develops, I will continue to bring you updates in a clear and simple way. Now, let's talk about what this could mean going forward. If this tension continues, we could see more public statements, more reactions, and possibly even changes in how decisions are being made within the government. Sometimes these things settle quietly. Other times they lead to bigger shifts. Another thing to consider is how the ruling party manages internal disagreements. Strong parties often have internal debates, but how those debates are handled can determine stability. Right now, many observers are saying this is a moment to watch very closely, not to panic, but to stay informed. And that is exactly what we are doing here, breaking it down so everyone can understand. Because at the end of the day, what matters most is stability, progress, and leadership that works for the people. When someone like Constantino Chiwenga speaks in a firm and controlled way, especially with his military background, it is usually not random. It is often planned. And it carries a message not just for one person, but for many people within the system. People are now asking, who exactly is this message for? Some believe it is directed straight at Emmerson Mnangagwa. Others think it is also meant for members of ZANU-PF, especially those who may be involved in internal power struggles or trying to position themselves for the future. You see, in politics, especially at that level, there is always something happening behind the scenes. Alliances are formed, opinions differ, and sometimes there are quiet disagreements that only come out through strong public statements like this one. And right now, many analysts are saying this could be about the future leadership of Zimbabwe. Because let's be honest, people are already thinking ahead. Who will lead next? How will power shift? And what role will key figures like Chiwenga play? Now, another angle to this story is how the public is reacting. Across Zimbabwe, conversations are growing on social media, in communities, and among political watchers. People are sharing their views. Some are supporting Chiwenga's firmness, saying the country needs strong direction and discipline. Others are more cautious, saying leaders should resolve issues internally to maintain unity. And then again, the name Rutendo Matinyarare keeps coming up, his commentaries as adding fuel to the conversation. He's known for speaking strongly on political matters, and his recent remarks are making people look at this situation from a different angle. Now, whether you agree with him or not, one thing is clear: his voice is part of the wider discussion, and it is shaping how some people understand what is happening. At this point, it is important to stay balanced and focus on confirmed developments while still understanding the different opinions around. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. Zimbabwe's political system has gone through major changes before. From the long leadership of Robert Mugabe to the transition during the 2017 Zimbabwean coup d'etat, every major moment has involved strong personalities and critical decisions. So when we see signs of tension at the top again, people naturally begin to connect the dots. But this is also a time where stability is very important. Investors, citizens, and even international observers are all watching closely. They want to see unity, clear direction, and leadership that is focused on progress. And this is where the real question comes in. What happens next? There are a few possible directions this could go. 1. Things could calm down. The message may achieve its purpose, and leaders may align again behind closed doors. This happens often in politics. Strong words are used to correct direction, and then things move forward quietly. 2, we could see more public signals, more speeches, more statements, and more reactions. If that happens, it means the situation is still active and evolving. 3, and this is what many people are watching closely, there could be a bigger shift in political positioning, not necessarily immediate change, but gradual movements that shape the future. And this is why you need to stay connected here. Please like this video and subscribe, because I will continue to break these developments down in a very simple and clear way for you. Now, let me make this very clear. At this stage, there is no official confirmation of any major conflict. What we are seeing are signals, interpretations, and reactions. And in politics, signals are very powerful. So the best approach is to stay informed, stay calm, and understand the situation step by step. Now, let's look at something else that many people are not talking about enough: the role of the military influence in Zimbabwe's politics. Chiwenga's background means he understands structure, order, and command. That alone gives his words a different kind of weight. Even when he speaks softly, people listen carefully. So when a message is described as a warning, it is not something people ignore. But at the same time, Zimbabwe is under civilian leadership, and that balance between military influence and political governance is something that must always be handled carefully. And that balance is part of what makes this story so important, because it is not just about today, it is about the future.